Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with Better Call Saul. Last time on Better Call Saul, we had Alpine Shepherd Boy, where basically Jimmy was getting some new clients thanks to the whole billboard stunt. And because of that, let's see. So we had the guy that wanted to secede from the United States and was going to pay him in not money. There was the dude with the sexual toilet. And then there was the old lady who was working on her will and everything with Jimmy. And after telling all of this to Kim, she suggested that Jimmy may actually have a future in elder law. And yeah, so he was working on that. That may be the ticket for him, to specialize in elder law. Speaking of the elderly, Chuck was taken to a hospital after a scuffle with the police, and the doctor there was thinking that he may need psychiatric help instead of medical help because she's thinking that Chuck's basically his condition is in his head, and Jimmy is unsure, not really sure, which way basically. So he's gonna have to think about that. But yeah, there was also a conversation between Chuck and Jimmy about about the billboard, and Jimmy saying, "Hey, it's not this isn't the return of Slipping Jimmy," basically. So, yeah, that was basically that. Also, at the end, we cut away to Mike for about 5 minutes, and then at the end, there was a dude that showed up at Mike's house who apparently knows him. So, yeah. So that is basically it. I know we took last week off from Better Call Saul. Just as a warning, we are going to do that in a couple weeks again once Christmas rolls around. But we'll talk about that more when we get there. I have to sneeze. Excuse me. And with that said, let's just go ahead and jump right into this episode of Better Call Saul. Here we go. Oh. Did you get shot? When did that happen? Ooh. Alright then.
She still asks about him. Where's Daddy? She just misses him.
Yeah. I want to be here for you, for Kaylee, for my family.
That's good. I'm glad to hear you better. I know I just need to move on from this, but I keep thinking about something.
About what?
How before Matty died, for a few weeks there, he was different. He barely ate. He wasn't sleeping. He snapped at me about the stupidest things. I started to think something's up at work or someone's sick, something like that, but he wouldn't talk to me. He clammed right up.
Cops aren't real touchy-feely, you know that.
No. 3 days or 4, I don't remember, but before he died, there was this phone call. 2:30 in the morning, I wake up and Matty's not in bed. And I hear him. He's talking downstairs, so I go to listen on the stairs where he couldn't see. But this, he was angry. He was really angry.
Girl's not hearing any of this.
What was he saying?
But I think he was talking to you. He knew he could call you anytime he had a problem. You were thick as thieves, the two of you. And there was something in his voice. It was how he was talking. It makes me think it was you.
I know what you're doing, replaying it over and over. Thinking if I'd noticed this or changed that, maybe I could have done something. You don't think I haven't had those thoughts? I do. Matty's gone. That's really all there is to it.
Yeah.
I guess that's that.
You know this town?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, well.
You sew this up yourself?
No.
Not bad. Okay.
Man, go to a vet to do this.
I'll give it to you for $25 a pill. Maybe drop the price to $15 for something a little less human-centric.
I'm an aspirin man.
Tell you what, take a couple in the house. In case you change your mind.
Gee, thanks.
You new in town?
Yeah.
Passing through or sticking around?
Why?
Is this going to
No
become a
reason.
regular thing?
Don't know why it has to be this way. Could have been friendly. Could have talked in your house.
Okay, so
I really
that's...
want the full
is that
material.
everything leading up to Albuquerque,
Lawyer.
then?
Fine. What lawyer?
Oh my god. Ugh. The best damn lawyer in Albuquerque.
Airman Shop.
Say hello to Burning Fife.
Wrong show, but thanks for playing. So what happened? Mayor didn't give you enough stickers?
Nuh.
Why'd you have me bring it to you?
All right, here's what's gonna happen. Those two cops out there are from Philadelphia. They've come a long way to see me.
Right.
When they come in here, we're all gonna have a little chat, and when it's over, the young one, who's been writing in his little notebook, he's gonna take it and put it in his jacket. And when he does that, I want you to take that coffee and spill it on him.
Okay.
Little accident, that's all.
So I'm here because you want me to assault a police officer.
I am asking you to take a few ounces of lukewarm coffee and spill it on him. I doubt that satisfies the definition of assault. But
No.
hey, you're the lawyer.
Nuh. Right.
Right.
Hey, I hate to remind you of this, but you owe me one. The assist I gave you with the missing persons problem, one good turn and so forth.
You want a good turn? Here's your good turn, okay? I'm gonna behave like an honest-to-God, law-abiding, licensed attorney. Assume I know absolutely nothing about my client here, all right? Start at the beginning.
Jesus, seriously?
Look, don't let Mr. Ehrmantraut's dancing eyes and bubbly, bon vivant personality fool you. He's actually, believe it or not, somewhat taciturn. Start at the beginning, okay? We're talking Book of Genesis.
Oof.
Okay, Mr. McGill. As you
Start from
probably
the
gathered,
beginning.
We, Detective Sanders and I, work for the Philadelphia Police Department. As did Mr. Ehrmantraut for nearly 30 years.
Philadelphia, go Eagles.
Mr. Ehrmantraut had a son, Matt. He too was with Philly PD.
Okay.
He was a rookie officer with about 2 years on the job.
He was a good cop.
Yes, he was.
Was a good cop.
About 9, fortunately, things got out of hand.
There were two of
3 of them
them.
were ambushed, and Matt didn't make it out. Hoffman and Fensky returned fire, but the shooter got away. And we chased a few leads, shook up the usual suspects, came up short.
I'm very sorry to hear it.
Okay.
That's when Hoffman and Fensky both turned up dead in a vacant lot out in Nicetown. Again, an ambush of some kind, it looks like. And with whoever killed Matt out there in the wind, we're thinking, well, it's our operating theory that Hoffman and Fensky were mixed up in something. Some bad business. And maybe that got Matt killed.
Yeah, sorry, I gotta do my lawyer thing here. What does my client have to do with
Yeah,
any of
that's
this?
what I was thinking.
Mike, this is a Hail Mary.
You drinking with anyone?
It's a cop bar. They were drinking with everyone.
Yeah, but did you see him with anyone in particular?
I couldn't tell you. I was... You know how it was.
How you doing these days?
Feeling like I crawled out from the bottom of a bottle and working hard to stay there.
Nuh.
We're done here, yeah.
Hey, that wasn't so hard, huh? Thanks, Mike. Listen, we're probably gonna kick around for another
Was he
couple
gonna do it?
days and-
Oh, hey. Oh, shit. Jeez, sorry.
I can get most. You know what? Hey, I got it. I got it. Thank you.
Well, he did it.
Oh, for the love of... You gotta do that right here, right in front of me? What's so important in there that we had to pull that third-rate Marx Brothers routine?
Nuh. Third
You
rate.
really want to know?
How did you know that I would spill that coffee? What the hell's that? What's supposed to mean, huh? But in case you missed it, your friends from Philly back there, they think you killed 2 cops.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah. I wonder if it's that Hoffman and Fensky killed Matt, so he killed them.
1,000 from God knows where. I mean, we were basically paycheck to paycheck. Where the hell did he get it?
Why didn't you ask me? Why didn't you come to me?
I couldn't. I knew what it would do to you. First he's murdered, and then for you to think... It'd burn you to the ground. There'd be nothing left. And you wouldn't talk to me. Every night you were drinking yourself unconscious like you were the only one who lost him. Look, I don't care. He was dirty, he was clean. I don't care. I'd still love him. I'd still miss him. He'd still be gone.
Matt wasn't dirty.
Well, so be straight with me. Right now, this is it, Mike. What was that phone call? Before he died, don't bullshit me.
That was between me and my son.
Shit.
So you're admitting it was you?
He wasn't dirty. God damn you. You get that through your head. My son wasn't dirty.
Damn. This is more than Mike ever had in Breaking Bad. Jesus Christ. Oh, is this back then? I think there's snow on the ground, so this ain't New Mexico.
I know it was you.
What are you doing out here? Come on, let us drive you. It's colder than my ex-wife's tit out here. Come on. Come on. Walk. Come on, don't be an ass. Come on,
get in
let's
the car
take it.
ready. Hey, Mikey. Mikey, you with us?
Why?
Maybe he's not
Time on
actually
the gun back
drunk.
there, buddy.
And you killed him for nothing. You killed him because you were scared what you thought he might do.
He's faking it. I knew it. I was just about to say he planted a gun.
He couldn't live with it. Not dying the way he did. It's too much for the old man. So Mike here decided to eat his gun. It's tragic, but anyone could see this coming. He's drinking himself to death. We're doing him
This other guy looks like fucking Tweener from Prison
Smart.
Break.
That's what I would have done if I were you.
Ha! Oh, he's still up. Oh! That dude took 3 shots. That must have been a hell of a jacket. This dude's still alive. Damn. Well. Bye. Off to New Mexico.
You bust a drug dealer that has more cash than you'll ever earn in a lifetime. Some of it doesn't make it back into evidence. So what? You took a taste, so did everyone else. That's how you knew you were safe. It's like killing Caesar. Everyone's guilty. You turn in your buddy, you're screwing yourself. You go along to get along.
And you went along.
I did.
Okay. But you said Matt didn't.
Hoffman went to Matty, offered to cut him in. Only fair, right? They were partners. And Matt did what you would think. He agonized. And then he came to me. Wanted to go to the IA, do the right thing, shut him down. I told him, you know what a cop fears most? Prison. Getting locked up with everybody you put away.
Yeah.
You threaten a cop with that, you make him dangerous. And that's what I told him. Take the money, do something good with it. My boy was stubborn. My boy was strong. And he was gonna get himself killed. I told him I did it too. That I was like Hoffman, getting by. And that's what you heard that night. Me talking him down, him kicking and screaming until the fight went out of him. He put me up on a pedestal, and I had to show him that I was down in the gutter with the rest of them.
Shit, man.
He went to Hoffman, he took the money, but he hesitated. Even looking like you're doing the right thing to those two meant that he wasn't solid, that he couldn't be trusted. I got Matty to take the money. And they killed him 2 days later.
Just because he hesitated, Jesus.
I was the only one that could get him to debase himself like that. And it was for nothing. I made him lesser. I made him like me. And the bastards killed him anyway.
If they killed Matty, who killed them? What happened?
Who do you think?
The question is, can you live with it?
Jesus Christ. Oh my God, I wasn't prepared. You know, I was just thinking before this episode, it's interesting that there's not... I feel like there's almost no goal we're leading towards. Like, we're watching the origins of Saul Goodman, yes, but when you start Breaking Bad, you have a clear, not necessarily a goal, but a sort of end game of Walter's death, either, you know, because of all the stuff he gets involved with, or just his cancer. And that's sort of the end game is, can Walt get enough money to support his family once he's gone? But here, on this show, technically, I guess the end game for this show is Jimmy McGill becoming Saul Goodman. But other than that, it's not necessarily... Like, I feel like there's not necessarily, like, this overarching plot. We're just watching parts of Jimmy's life, you know? And wow, I would never have suspected that within the first season we would get an episode like this. Like, holy crap. You know what this feels like? It almost feels like... It feels like Vince Gilligan was sitting on this story in Breaking Bad, but never found a place to put it. Like, there was never a good place to put this story in Breaking Bad. And obviously, yes, you know, the timeline doesn't add up or anything. You know, it wouldn't work out to put this in Breaking Bad. But I feel like this story, basically, they were sitting on this story for years. And when Better Call Saul came around and is like, okay, well, we're going to be doing a prequel and we're introducing, you know, not only Saul Goodman, but we're having, you know, earlier encounters with Mike and everyone. I feel like that's when they were like, hey, this is the perfect opportunity to do this story. You know, I mean, this is basically... I feel like this is basically, like, Mike's origin right here, you know? Because, I mean, until just when this show starts, Mike is a cop, you know? Because we heard about that, you know? We heard about that in Half Measures, where he was telling the story where he ended up, you know, killing that guy that kept beating his wife. But even still, so basically that, and he said he was, you know, a young cop when that happened, But up until just before he moved to Albuquerque, he was a cop. And now he's doing something different. So we may even see how he starts getting into being a PI. Obviously, as we saw when we first met him, he was more of a PI to Saul Goodman, and eventually how he became sort of a, I guess just sort of a, I don't want to say like a muscle man, but like how he basically came to work for Gus Fring. We may see that in this show, honestly. And that's very, very interesting. And yes, all of that has to start somewhere, and this is where you started. But yeah, like, honestly, for a while, I almost had to like keep reminding myself, oh yeah, I'm watching Better Call Saul. I'm not watching the Mike Ehrmantraut show. This is supposed to be a show about Saul Goodman, Jimmy McGill. But let's face the facts that, how long is he in this episode? From about the 14-minute mark to about the 21-minute mark. 7 minutes. Our main actor, Bob Odenkirk, is only in this episode max 7 minutes, and that's basically it. The entire episode, though, is about Mike, And I just would not have suspected that with everything going on with, with Jimmy dealing with, the skaters and Tuco and Nacho and the Kettlemans and, the war with Hamlin and everything that's happening with Chuck. I would not have suspected that we would stop pretty much all of that and have an episode about Mike. And not only is it an episode about Mike, but oh my God, that is so emotional and intense. Like that, honestly, that is acting I feel like we never got in Breaking Bad, because Breaking Bad is after this, after everything here. But goodness, I've always loved Mike as a character, and Jonathan Banks is excellent, but holy crap, just that scene alone, like, I think that may be his best performance as Mike in this entire franchise, in this series, So, wow. All right. So, interesting stuff to talk about. Very, very interesting stuff. So, I mean, I like how it's framed, because honestly, some of the only things, the stuff that's in the present day is Mike and Jimmy talking to the Philadelphia cops, and then going back to the wife. I'm gonna look up character names and actors. I do also want to look up. I don't know which cop it was. It was the cop that got shot easily. I'm gonna see if I can. Hold on. All right. Man, it's crazy because obviously on the cast list for this episode, Kim, Howard, Nacho, and Chuck all are only they're credited, but it's credit only because they are just not in this. All right. The wife's name was Stacy. Got it. And then Troy Hoffman. All right. What was the other ones? Okay. Sergeant. Yeah, Jack Fensky. It's played by Billy Malone. Why? I think he's the one that I was like, this guy looks like Tweener. I doubt it is Tweener, considering what I heard about that actor. But yeah, but I'll look anyway. Apparently he was in an episode of Agent Carter. Interesting. No, okay, I didn't think so. So, oh no, wait. No, this other guy, Hoffman was the guy I was thinking about. Okay, I'm sorry. I just saw his picture here. Oh no way, it was Tweener. No fucking way. That was Tweener. He didn't really have any lines, but wow, okay. Wow. All right. Well, okay, so Fensky was the one that Mike shot like 8 times before he finally died. And then the other one that went down easily, I looked at him, I was like, this dude looks like Tweener, and sure enough. Lane Garrison, it is Tweener. All right. Well, I'll be damned. I'll be damned it was Tweener. He didn't have any lines, though, which was kind of interesting. But yeah, I know people told me when he had to, slight spoilers, I guess, leave Prison Break. People told me kind of what happened, which was pretty crazy to hear about. But anyway. But yeah, well, I mean, that stuff aside, I do kind of like seeing him again, just because I liked him in Prison Break, you know? Stuff in his personal life aside, I liked him in Prison Break, so that was actually okay. I can't believe I called that. I didn't think I would, but I mean, because I looked at him and I was like, if it's Tweener, he's older, and it's like, well, but Better Call Saul, this is 2015 when they made this, I'm pretty sure, so that would make sense. He'd be almost 10 years older, so. Alrighty, that's crazy. Alright, so Mike being shot. That was interesting. I mean, I love how they show everything. Like, they don't just show just going from one thing to another. It's like, I like how the timeline in this episode just kind of goes back and forth. Like, we start with when he just makes it to Albuquerque and he's been recently shot. And then, you know, getting the stitches, flash forward back to the present day, where him and Jimmy are dealing with the cops. Cut back to, after that, he goes and talks to Stacy again, has the flashback of killing the cops, come back, and then you deal with that. Like, I like how that worked out, so yeah. So that's the thing. To quickly, I mean, a lot of these notes are basically sort of, you know, when I was like, oh, what's this? And so I won't really go too far into them. But we'll talk about, first off, his scene with Jimmy, which was interesting. So I did like that, you know, when he needed a lawyer, and he didn't even need a lawyer. He just needed, you know, a way to get this notepad. So I like that he did call Jimmy. Like, that worked out. And yeah, he said, hey, you owe me one. So I did really like that, and Jimmy being reluctant about it, but eventually doing it, which is interesting. And I like, you know, Mike is like, oh, so how did you know I would do that? And Mike's like, come on, man. I can figure you out. Like, and yeah, like, that kind of makes sense that Jimmy, I guess, is maybe predictable to an extent. Like, he's not that crafty. He's crafty. He's a crafty guy, but some people like Mike can see through him. And yeah, I like that he knew that Jimmy would do that, so that was good. But yeah, so we had the whole thing about Hoffman and Fensky, which was interesting. So yeah. So I like this whole thing, the whole explanation that every cop in Philadelphia was dirty, including Mike, which was interesting. So yeah, each and every one of them were doing something, you know, dirty. But Matt wasn't. His son wasn't. He's a good boy, you know? He was a good boy and he didn't go for it. But then, and I like this is so crazy that it's like, because it's not just that, oh, he was, you know, this white knight and that's why they killed him or anything. Like, it's honestly so tragic the way it ends up, because he did end up doing it. He did, like Mike said, he debased himself. He made himself a lesser man by doing it. He lowered himself to them, and they killed him anyway. That is so tragic. Like, that's some, like, Shakespearean tragedy or something, you know? And that is really interesting, you know, and just immediately getting this sort of, you know, father-son dynamic between them. and the whole thing of like, well, it was troubling. It was difficult for him. So he went to his father that he put up on a pedestal, and Mike had to explain, no, I'm like them, because he was going to go to, what do they say? The IA, and Mike knew, no, then they'll kill him. So he had to be like, no, just let it go. I'm like this. He tried, I guess it's honestly like he tried to make it better. It's like, well, it's not that bad. Nobody's getting hurt. Look, even I do it. And, you hold me in such regard. So, but what it actually did was it broke him to know that his role model was a dirty cop, And he did convince him. He convinced him to go with it. But yeah, just that tiny moment. I love that tiny moment. And it's interesting stuff like that, especially just moments of instinct or hesitation or something. He did go with it, but because they offered him the money, but he hesitated for just a second. But for just 1 second, he hesitated, and to them that meant they couldn't trust him, and because of that, they killed him. Just Mike just losing it, saying, I made him a lesser man, and they killed him anyway. He did this. He lowered himself. He debased himself. He shamed himself to be killed anyway. Like, that is friggin' horrible. It's honestly, it's this horrific tragedy, It's this horrific tragedy that they still killed him anyway. And Mike decided, you know what? Now I'm going to kill them. And that makes sense, honestly. That makes sense. No half measures. We know he's done stuff like that before. And yeah, so he goes in, plants the gun, and then he pretends to be wasted so that he plans it perfectly. He pretends to be wasted. He goes over and is like, oh, I know it's you. Getting them scared. Then they, offer him the lift home. He starts talking, so they're going to take him out and kill him. And I like, they're saying it's like, oh, it couldn't get to him, so he put a gun in his mouth. And cut over to Mike. That's a good plan. That's what I would have gone with. If I was in this situation, that's what I would have gone with. And he's just been faking being drunk, and he just offs both of them. And it's interesting, Tweener goes down faster than the other guy, which I'm just going to call him Tweener. Whatever, Hoffman. It's just Tweener. But yeah, Tweener goes down first. And then, which I thought was interesting, it's like the other guy got like 2 bullets and then like kept going and even got a shot on Mike. But yeah. So that was really, really interesting. And yeah, just that whole thing of he lowered himself to our level and he got killed for it anyway. And just that, the acting in that scene, it's honestly, it's so interesting. These two shows, honestly, without a doubt, are some of the best out there. And Jesus Christ, the acting in this is just superb. So, oh, man, I feel like I want to keep talking about this, but I mean, I don't know, how long has this discussion been? This has been decently long, but it's like, oh, man, I don't know. It's just so difficult, man. It's so difficult, but just that last scene where he's talking about it, and it's like, and just this great Shakespearean tragedy that occurs where it's like, no, he did go through with it. He did take the money. But because he hesitated just for a second, that got him killed. That's just tragic, That's just tragic. Now, another interesting thing is that, I'm curious, because we had the scene in the last episode of presumably now it was Mike watching the house and Stacy saw him. So I'm curious about that. I mean, it would have to be before this conversation, you know? It would have to be before this conversation, but I don't know. I mean, she definitely suspected it, you know? Even in that conversation in the backyard, like, she suspected it, definitely. Now, it's also interesting because we see Mike caring for his granddaughter in Breaking Bad, but I guess, I don't know, we never met the mother, I don't think, but I guess there's no reason, like, she would be gone or anything, because it's not like he was living with his granddaughter, you know? So I think the mother was still in the picture, but I don't know. But yeah, but that was really interesting. And yeah, just at the end, it's like, can you, like, he basically says, you know I killed them. Can you live with that? You know? So I'll be interested to see if there's any more of that, honestly. If we get any more of that. But I would say, because of the interactions he has with his granddaughter in Breaking Bad, that yes, she does live with it. So yeah, that, holy crap, that was crazy. Not anything, I mean, maybe if you told me something like this was going to happen in Better Call Saul, I would believe you. But man, having it so early in season 1, I mean, I know we're on the back half of season 1, but still, just in season 1, I don't know if I would have expected that. So that was really, really good. So I'm very curious to see where we are going next time. So that is basically it. With all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around to any of those. There's a playlist for all of my Better Call Saul reactions, as well as another playlist for all my Breaking Bad reactions. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.